But they always say collect what you like. It should be very simple, right? Wrong. Stay tuned. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. It is another day. It is another sports card video. Apologies, we're a little bit late today. It's been a wonky day, but we very much appreciate you joining us. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, the like button if you like what you hear, and don't forget the notification bell, little karate chop on the notification bell so that you're notified. Actually, don't karate chop it for real, but you know what I mean. Announcements abound. We have completed the trifecta of sponsorships or partnerships, whatever you want to call it, maybe a triforce, if you will. Really excited to add both SGC and ComC to Card Shop Live. It's great. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited to put out content tailored to these companies, but also just kind of continue doing what I'm doing and wrapping it in as we go. Today we're going to talk about sports card collecting. I called it kind of a collecting 101 type video because it's just a general thought that I had. Because you always hear, especially during these types of economic times, it's buy what you like, buy what you want. And that is absolutely true. Buy what you love. Here's the problem though, is there's a lot of things to love. Not only is there sports cards, but there's all sorts of different types of collectibles. But let's keep that to the side. Let's just stick with sports cards, stay on topic. There is an abundance of options at your fingertips at all times. Even if you nail it down to one sport, all right, I'm going basketball. And then even if you nail it down to one team, Chicago Bulls, 90s. Okay, we're going to go Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's our guy. Where do you even start with Michael Jordan cards? How do you even think about where to begin with Michael Jordan cards? There is such a vast library of options, such abundance. And for the most part, I think a lot of us are on some sort of fixed budget, and there is just not enough resources to go around. So this makes it really tricky. The vast majority of people are not collecting one player. They're collecting multiple players, a lot of times multiple sports, or maybe even they're just sticking with baseball cards or they're sticking with basketball cards or whatever. But even then, you have so many different options. I think to get started, you really have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself a few different questions, especially if you are brand new to the sports card hobby, you're getting back into it. The landscape has changed dramatically. If you're getting back in after 10, 20, 30 years, you have to really figure out first off if you are trying to buy, sell cards to make money, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, or if you're just trying to buy cards maybe to also make money, but to hold for the long term. So you're not necessarily just trying to flip short-term buys and sells. You're maybe trying to hold on to some stuff for a while. Maybe it's a combination of the two. Or you just don't care about any of that stuff and there's just certain players, teams, maybe you just love Prism products and you're just like, man, I just love the silver Prisms. I like all the refractors. I like that stuff. So I want to collect those sorts of things. You've got a budget that you're working in. Still have to strategize though with that too as far as getting good pricing. We talk about it all the time. We like the brand new football Prism, basketball Prism. If you wait 3 months, 6 months, a year, that stuff is all going to be less expensive for the most part, unless we're talking about the black finites and whatever. Maybe that won't be. But for the most part, a lot of that stuff is just, it's fresh, it's exciting, it's new rookies and so forth, new chase cards. And so that's why prices are what they are. But being really honest with yourself up front on which one of these you are. And if you're a combination of these three, I consider myself a combination of these three. Huge Saints fan, so I collect random players, Dalton Hilliard, Marcus Colson. I've got Bobby Hebert rookie cards somewhere. You get the point. I don't think that those things are going to skyrocket in price anytime soon. But I just like those players. There's a time period in my life. There's some nostalgia going back to the late 80s, 90s Saints stuff. You know, that's stuff that I just like to collect and just players that I respect, etc. On the other hand, I've got certain buys where I'm holding long term thinking like, man, this is a wicked cool card, but I also want to just hold on to it for a period of time and see what happens. Maybe it will be worth a lot more in 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Who knows? And so the prospect of kind of a store of value, certain cards, I think that would be fun. Just like a bunch of people that bought Mantles 20, 30 years ago or whatever, now they're sitting on those and just kind of like, ha, I knew that this would be worth something one day. They went with the Mantles instead of the Don Mattingly rookies, and here they are laughing at the rest of us. You also hear a lot about leveling up. So you have kind of these things where you're looking for arbitrage in the short run to build up, level up the collection. So you're technically a collector, and you might have different reasons for that. Maybe you just want to get to a 52 Topps Mantle because your grandfather had one, your dad had one, whatever the case may be. There's a story there. There's something there that draws you to a particular card, but you don't have tens of thousands of dollars to put down on that card. So you're looking now at short-term strategies to kind of wheel and deal your way up into that stuff, because maybe your spouse is like, hey, we're not dropping $30K on a Mickey Mantle 52 Topps PSA 1 or whatever they cost now. And I respect that type of hustle where you're just kind of like leveling up, and you can do this a bunch of different ways. You see it all the time. I think Ryan Card Collector 2 has a whole series on dollar bin buys and sells. You know, the quarter bins, selling them for $1. You can do that big volume stuff. ComC is a great site for this, where you can go on. You can easily move in and out of cards and kind of build up a bankroll. There's a lot of different ways to do it. That's what makes the card hobby very interesting and fun. If you're someone that's wanting to kind of do it for the financial piece, but you also love cards, there are a lot of different avenues to be able to level up, so to speak. But I think with just so much opportunity cost out there, and I see it all the time, and that's just in sports cards. I've got a bunch of different types of collectibles too. Up here in this corner, I don't know if you can see, but I've got an original He-Man Masters of the Universe toy action figure that's still in the original box from 1982, because that was a big nostalgic thing for me. I recently picked it up. I've got graded starting lineups. I've got cards. I've got comics. I've got all sorts of different things. So we're just talking about sports cards right now, but once you get into the opportunity cost of all these things, you really have to sit down, come up with some sort of a short-term plan. Is the plan adaptable? Can you change it over time? Yeah, of course. You can always change your plan. That's also part of the collecting fun, is you don't have to be set in stone on a particular game plan, particular set, particular sport player. You can adapt to this thing as it goes. And there always is short-term arbitrage. There's always little things that can be done in the hobby. I know that prices have come down quite a bit. There are buying opportunities out there. Do we know where the bottom is? No. Do we know where the top is? No. But there is always little ways to kind of get in and out of stuff. So that type of research and want is really what's required, though. I think that that's also something that should not be downplayed at all. If you're really trying to level up, you need to really love cards/collectibles, whatever that is, because you will be doing a lot of research to make sure that you're doing it right and not wasting money. I think that's what happened over the last couple of years. There was a lot of easy money made, and now there's not easy money to be made. Now it's grinding, but you know what? I feel like it kind of always was grinding. As I talked to people that were obviously around beforehand, they were always grinding, and then you had kind of the pandemic 2 years where it was kind of easy money flowing that wasn't real. And now we're back to kind of the way that the way it always was. So if it's something that you got back into maybe during the pandemic, and now you're like, you know what, I want to stay in though. How can I stay in? How can I do this? There are a lot of different ways, lots of different, channels, different ways to research, to figure out a good way to do this. But guys, let me know your thoughts. Have you been honest with yourself as to what you're doing in this hobby, or are you just kind of flying blind? Sometimes I'm flying blind, so don't feel weird if you are. Thanks very much for joining, guys. Don't forget to go and check out Card Shop Live. I've got a little thingy I'll put up here. Go and download the app. 2 people over the next few days are going to win $50 on the app. Card Shop Live. I'll put the info in the comment section below and then also in the video description. Have an amazing rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.